remember exactly what she said.
Everybody rise and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That would bring us to the agenda.
Okay, before we approve the agenda, I need to make some amendments. First amendment would be under new business, would be letter J, which would be recommendation to approve payment to S&P Global. Letter K would be recommendation to approve adding a TES teacher for 5th grade, with permission to hire pending necessary paperwork and bring to the board in September for retroactive approval. And L would be recommendation to buy out Jeffrey Berger's prep period in order to add another period of construction class. And letter M would be a recommendation to update the THS registered job description to include the TES treasurer duties. So we would be merging those two together to one full-time position. The next amendment would be under personnel. E, number 3, it would be Mason Jones as sub-custodian pending paperwork. And then under farther down, let's see, under personnel, P, part 2, junior high speech team, Laura Carnes, that was put on by mistake. There was not enough students, I don't believe, for the junior high speech team, if I remember that correctly. Kelly, is that correct?
Not enough meets.
Not enough meets, okay. So those were my amendments.
I have a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
We do not
Have
have,
any patron comment forms?
normally we would have, it was Austin's night to go. I had originally taken him off because I wasn't planning on him being here, but if he, I thought maybe with the new baby, congratulations, by the way, so big shout out there. If you have anything to share, you're welcome to go ahead and share.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just with athletics right now, I'll talk a little bit about personnel and then I can talk about, the financial side of it as well, and just, oh, you don't get there. So, a couple different things, obviously with personnel, there's been a lot of moving and shaking, this past year, so there's a little bit of growing pains. We're working on kind of getting the rest of those spots filled here. Hopefully by September, I'm trying to have everything done, because there's a lot of turnover, as most schools typically have a lot of turnover, but we're looking on trying to fill that. Goal is by the end of September, some scheduling things kind of took precedent at the start of the year that were just really needed my attention. So that's what came first. As far as the budget, we're in pretty good shape with the budget. It's not where I don't think I'd like it to be. There was some spending last year, which was needed, but they kind of set us back a little bit, and just some of the bills that we have to pay up front. So later in the year, once we get games going again and admission, we should be fine on budget. We're doing great on that. Oh yeah, and you guys see it on the agenda, a couple different things that we're looking to change. Trying to get more technology involved and trying to take fees away from students. So we're trying to remove a lot of barriers of entry. I think there's a couple letters that you guys will see later on. That's the goal with the athletic fees. The goal is to not, and I believe it's on there as well, we don't want to charge the kids again this year. So we're trying, especially in this this area, we're trying to remove all barriers of entry. And we're looking at different corporate sponsors, the paid corporate sponsors, and then just kind of little tweaks in like concessions or different things to get that number up, that would kind of balance that out. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next, we would ask for a motion to approve executive session and regular session minutes. You want to do them both together, or do we need to do them separate?
No reason we need to take them separate.
Okay, for July 8th, and then July 16th executive session.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Go ahead.
All those in favor? All in favor? And that brings us into claims and financials. Since Amy's not here, I assume you'll run that for us.
I'm gonna do it too. So next would be approval of July claims, which was $722,209.92. I would ask for a motion to approve that.
Have a motion?
Motion.
Second. All those in favor? All in favor?
Next would be to approve the supplemental, or ask for a motion to approve the supplemental payroll report. That was $314,189.78.
Have a motion on the supplemental payroll.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be, the monthly financials, and they're too big. Let's see, where it is. So you can see where we're at cash balance wise for July, our remaining appropriation amount to the end of the year. And we are sitting in an okay spot at this point in time. This is our total receipts, our total expenditures here. So any questions on the cash flow report? But again, that remaining balance is 201 right now. And then operations, here was our total receipts, our total expenditures. This is where our cash balance is, and our total remaining appropriation is the 537,321 at this point. Any questions on that one? So just, she's still got on here, the bonds and what's remaining in those balances. I know that I had said earlier that we still had 66,000 left in the bond that we could use for
Contingency.
contingency issues, so that's where that number came from. Okay, any questions on the monthly financials? All right, yep. Okay. I don't know why there was another, that was just the case. So next would be old business. And Brent, if you wanted to share a little bit about the assailant drill that we did.
We had, on July 28th, we had the active assailant drill. And that night, we had 54 emergency responders, fire departments. We had Newcastle PD, Middletown PD, Newcastle Fire Department, Strawn, Spiceville, Louisville Fire Departments. We had the emergency dispatch people out here, and we had both Newcastle EMS and Henry County EMS out here to take part of that drill. We did learn three things out here. That particular night, there was no power to start the drill. And we had one of the firemen, volunteer firemen, jokingly suggest we get to break out a window. I have key boxes out in the school, both for elementary and high school. I had keys. I had a key fob that you could get in for power to work, and I had keys for all the inside doors. So it was brought up, and I was able to get keys for the outside doors, and they're now in the key boxes. So they have keys when there's no power for whatever reason, they can get in without having to cause any damage on that. We had 3 student volunteers that were out here. They helped out. We had 4 staff members, and speaking with Kelly, I think she was fairly impressed with how everything works, on what the guys done and how they performed. We did discuss, because turnover, I used to have, you were required the last 4 digits and 2 zeros of your social security number to get in the key box. Well, that, that would allow anybody, that I put that in there, but then also we decided we were going to change that because I had a couple departments, they had a bunch of turnover and they were not giving me the social security number, so some deputies or police officers were able to get in and some weren't. So I have changed that to a standard code. But with that discussion is, for security purposes, because there's turnover in the volunteer fire departments and stuff like that, we've determined that at the end of each grading period, I will change the code, and then I will send that to dispatch. So dispatch, when they dispatch somebody out here that needs to get in the building, they can give them that code, so they can get in, and it'll change, like I said, every grading period. Let's see. It was brought up, and Kelly brought that up, and we discussed it with the people who had done the presentation. All the classrooms on the inside, they're numbered, so they're numbered 1 through, I think here in the high school it's 1 through 39 or something like that, and there's the same number down in the elementary. It was discussed, and I talked to Mrs. Lynch on this also. It was suggested that we have numbers in all the doors, and it was discussed and suggested that for emergency purposes, that we put the classroom number on each window of the classroom. That way, twofold, if we had an active shooter or something in our classroom, and we had people on the outside, they wouldn't have to go count the window to decide where the active shooter was. The second school of thought on that is if we had a natural disaster, an earthquake or something like that, and an inside interior wall would cave in or something we couldn't get in, instead of telling, people count 12 windows and go there, we can tell them to go to classroom 3 or whatever, and we're going to put the numbers on the center window of each classroom so they can be seen from the outside. And then the last thing that dispatch really liked, and some of the police officers and stuff were out here, we had 2 police officers that went to school out here, so they know where the senior hall is, and they know where South Hall is, and this, that, and the other. When I first came out here, I attended a couple classes, and the schools had halls marked with color code. And so I color coded each hallway, and I took it down when they painted. But as of tonight, I recolor coded the hallways. And it's just a little small piece of tape that's on the bottom of each corner. And I've got a list, if anybody would like a list of how they're done. So if you walk into door 1, you're gonna have the blue hallway, which is the north-south hallway or the senior hallway. And then you're gonna have the burgundy hallway, which is the hallway on the north end that runs east and west. So dispatch will have that. I understand that, people are from out here and, have done this for 100 years. They're gonna say senior hall or middle school hall or whatever. But like I said, I've been involved in the sheriff's department for 6 years now, and I know 3 people that are on the sheriff's department there when I was there. Everybody else, they've all retired and moved on. And so he would call up there and say, we have something in the senior hallway, they have no idea where it was. But that's some of the good stuff that came out of the active shooter. Bluebird had one the following week, and I went out there and attended that one. And, the same thing, they all learned what was going on. And then, next year, they're planning on Shenandoah and Knightstown having the same thing. But it's just good to get everybody involved. So, I'm hoping that as long as I'm here forever, we don't have that problem. But if you watch the news, you see these guys doing stupid stuff. And the sad part is they get their 15 minutes of fame and last about 3 or 4 weeks and just encourage them. So, but that's what I got, and just want to let everybody know what's going on.
Thank you.
Okay, next
That
week.
would take us right on into new business.
New business, next will be the recommendation to approve treasurer's bonds. Maybe we can open those up, or any questions on them?
Now, do we have a motion to approve the treasurer's bonds?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be a recommendation to approve, the field drainage work. So I know that there have been some drainage issues. And so by doing this, it will help around our sports fields, but also help the neighboring farmers deal with, drainage issues.
And we've done that like 5 or 6 years ago, and basically it silts back in over time. The dirt from tillage and whatnot silts the bottom of that open waterway in and doesn't allow the water to get from the north end of the property to the south end as well as it should. And then just has to be cleaned out. And there was a blowhole, I believe, on our east field that they were gonna fix in this work as well.
Was none of this done when we did the baseball field?
Right, they didn't go back through the ditch itself. We
Gotcha.
added drainage from the baseball field
But
to
they
the
didn't go
ditch,
to the
but we didn't clean the ditch line back again. I believe the last time that was done would have been probably when the track and the softball field were put in. We went through and added drainage down the sides there and did the dirt work all the way down and even did along 700 at that point.
I was gonna say, I was feeling like we did this not too long ago.
Yeah, I think it was during the construction of track and softball was when we actually did the ditch itself. We just added tile lines under the baseball field and those dumped into the ditch, but we didn't actually clean the ditch. And then Joe was of course gonna be here to talk about everything and what that work, but needs to rest, so.
Yes, you did, yeah.
Anybody have any other questions on that one? Not, do we have a motion to approve the drainage work?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Does that need to be in the budget to be a continuous type thing?
It has to stay on the radar, but it's kind of a constantly changing piece that you almost have to get quoted, because if we end up with like blowholes or tiles that aren't working, things of that nature, next time it may need to be along 700 as well, which is, it's kind of always a moving target.
Gotcha.
Next would be to ask for a recommendation to approve a disposal of surplus music books. There's a letter in there from Mrs. Ham over the summer when they were moving rooms. There were a lot of old books found in there, and they were not going to be of any value to resell. So we're asking for approval to dispose of those books.
We have a motion for the disposal of surplus music books.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay, next would be a recommendation to allow electronic payments at athletic events. However, cash would still be allowed, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure. So just asking to add electronic payments at athletic events.
I have a question. Do we already have the technology devices to do that?
So we have the iPads, I need to get I was waiting before approval to get the Square.
Gotcha.
But those, typically, they just charge a fee for those, so.
Our fees have gotten kind of high on Square, you might want to check into it. It's just,
Yeah, I'm open, whatever's the cheapest, I haven't bought the card readers yet, but we do have the iPads and stuff. There we go.
You have a motion to approve the use of electronic payment at athletic events.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be a recommendation to allow the sale of athletic apparel in concession stands during events throughout the year.
Any discussion on that? Is there anything on that you want to elaborate on since? That's
Yeah, I had provided a letter about that, but branding, I think, is important. I don't think we have a lot of options at the school to have just universal team apparel. Like sometimes we have football or basketball or tennis, but we don't have just tight gear. So selling at the concession stand, having athletic gear that we can provide, one, the athletic department benefits from that, from a financial aspect that we can pull back into the kids, but also it's just readily available right there for people to purchase the games.
I think that's a good idea. I wondered, do you know where you're gonna go for the merchandise, or is that something that needs to be kind of spread around the community or competed or anything?
I'm looking for quotes on that. We do have so we currently do have some gear, we just haven't had it printed. BSN, who we use for some of our purchasing apparel, they do printing, but they're not super competitive, in my opinion, with a lot of theirs. They have high markups, because that's how they make money, because it's easily right there. Pending, and I don't know if it's on this one yet, but it'll probably be on September. Varsity Capital has given us a check for a corporate sponsor. I was gonna look at their prices to see if they're competitive. They're local and they're right by, so I'm looking around, there's a few of them, MC Printing in Cambridge City as well. But honestly, whatever is the most competitive and what's quality is whatever's worth there.
I have a motion to allow the sale of athletic apparel at concession stands.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next is a recommendation to approve student handbook change, concerning the athletic substance abuse policy. And I'll let Austin explain that a little more. The new changes are here in yellow, and I know that it had to do with the fact that the way it was written before, it was saying that it was for 365 days. So if a student participated in 3 different sports, they would be penalized for 3 different sports. However, if they only played 1 sport, they would be penalized for 1. And so he has rewritten this so that it's a little more fair across the board. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it. We're not trying to, like, and this is just first offense, everything else laid out. I know kids make mistakes. We just want to have an equal punishment for that. So the kids that are super involved, I don't want to punish them 3 times, where the kid that plays 1 sport would only punish them once. So it kind of levels the playing field a little bit, but if that happens a 2nd or 3rd time, we're not changing anything like that. So that was the only update. I think I provided the other paper, but it's been crazy, the current handbook. I did it right before I left on paternity leave, so I apologize if it wasn't there. But that is the only thing. It's just changing it from 365 days to the next sports season.
Any questions on that? Not, do I have a motion to approve the change to the student handbook on the athletic substance abuse policy?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be a recommendation to approve the Centerstone MOU pending attorney review. It has been sent to Jim Hamilton. I know he's been really busy, because it's not like him to not respond fairly quickly most of the time. So it is still pending attorney review at this moment. But we really would like that opportunity to get Centerstone in here. This would be the free version where they would come in and they would only be servicing the students that are their clients at this time. And we would like to start with that to see how that goes, and then, maybe we add more on later, but at this moment, the MOU on the table would just be allowing them to have a space to be in here and to work with the students that are their clients.
Any questions on that? If not, do I have a motion to approve the MOU with Centerstone pending the attorney's review?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
So next, would be recommendation to approve facility use requests. You can either do these all together or individually. We have Thunderstruck softball, Macy Valley softball camp, and Titan youth football. The Macy Valley softball camp would still be pending, certificate of insurance, but she did not want to spend the money on it if you guys didn't approve it. So she was gonna wait to see if it got approved, and if it did, then they would get to purchase it and get it into us.
Does Thunderstruck have certificate of liability too?
Yes, if it should, it's attached while they're not, but, when Abby sends them to us, yes, they all are pending. We normally don't put them on here without it. That's why Macy's is listed separately.
It's on there.
I'm gonna say it should be on there.
Yeah, it's down there.
Yeah.
It's attached at the bottom. Anybody have any questions over those? Do you want to do them individually or all as a group?
This one for me.
Group. Okay, do I have a motion to approve the facility use request pending the certificate of liability on item B?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
All right, next, will be a recommendation to approve donations. So we have several of them here. First one would be Citizens Bank, $5,000 for a book vending machine. The Geo Group Foundation, $4,000 for corporate donation, and then the numerous athletic department donations. So I'm not sure how you want to break those out.
Well, let's do, top two individually since they're
Yep, I'm good with that.
outlined that way. So do I have a motion to approve the donation from Citizen State Bank for the book vending machine?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor. And then the GEO Group Foundation, $4,000 corporate donation. I have a motion for that.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? And then I have to pull out item 11. Does anybody else need any of those pulled out for any reason? So let's do item 11 first. That's the Carmichael Plumbing donation. Do we have a motion to approve that donation to the athletic department?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? 5 in favor and abstaining. And then we'll take the remaining athletic department donations. Do I have a motion to approve the remaining donations?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor.
Okay. So next would be letter J, which would be recommendation to approve payment to S&P Global.
Any discussion on that? There is none. Do I have a motion to approve payment to S&P Global?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be a recommendation to approve adding a TES teacher for 5th grade. Permission to hire pending necessary paperwork and to bring to the board meeting in September for retroactive approval.
I have a motion to hire a 5th grade teacher.
Motion.
Second.
Necessary paperwork, that includes the background checks and everything, right?
All of
Okay.
it.
Yep.
License check, background check,
Everything, yep.
all the things required.
Sorry, I didn't mean to use off the
You-
process there.
Kim, you did get a motion in a second, correct?
Yeah.
Katie?
Second,
Yeah,
that
Oh,
motion.
no, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, yes, we're voting.
you got it, okay.
Sorry.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Next will be a recommendation, to buy out, Jeffrey Berger's prep period in order to have the additional construction class.
We have a motion to buy out Mr. Berger's prep to add a construction class.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, and then we have a recommendation to update the THS registrar's job description to include the TES treasurer duties, so that the two positions, Stephanie is currently the registrar, she would just absorb those treasurer duties, as Julie is, resigning on, end of the day on August 22nd, so the idea would be, that she could train with her over these next week and a half.
A motion to combine to update the registrar's job description to include the treasurer duties, TES treasurer duties.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Next we have a lot of personnel. And I think you were talking about earlier, some have to be pulled
Yeah.
out. How do you want it? You want to do it just section by
Yeah,
section?
like A, B, C,
Yes.
we can go through.
Would that be easier right now?
And then when we get to item G, we have a couple that we have to pull out and take individually.
Okay,
So you just want to go.
so
through
we'll
them.
start with, ask for recommendation to accept the resignation certified.
I have a motion there.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Next would be a recommendation to approve resignations of non-certified.
Do I have a motion on those?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
C would be recommendation for resignations, of ECA and lay coaches.
A motion on those.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Next would be a recommendation to approve the hire of certified.
Do I have a motion on those?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Next would be recommendation to approve permission to hire the non-certified staff.
A motion to hire non-certified.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
All right, now, is this the one where,
No,
next one?
well, yeah. I don't think there's any conflict in F.
No, but I have a
Okay.
question on one.
Okay.
Yes.
Austin Stroud says girls varsity assistant coach.
Mhm.
For what sport?
Basketball.
This girls basketball, is that not listed on there?
No.
It just says girls varsity assistant.
I was going based off of when I was reading.
The other two.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so permission to hire ECA and lay coaches.
So a motion on the ECA and lay coaches.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor? This is the one we're gonna break out, the first two items. So we have the volunteer coaches, we'll do under one, Jonathan Wilmore, volunteer elementary TED Ed Club. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? And 5 in favor, and those who abstain. And then item 2 is Clint Thompson, volunteer baseball junior high coach. Do I have a motion on that one?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor? 5 in favor, and those who abstain? 1. And then that leaves us
Rest of them.
3 through 7. I believe we are good. Do I have a motion on item 3 through 7?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, the next would be, ask for a motion, for miscellaneous to approve the rescinding prior resignation, of Amanda Bags. We had posted, special ed position, both full-time and part-time, and just did not, we had a couple applicants, but nobody that would accept in terms of the full-time, and so we really felt like that it was worth having. Amanda does a great job, and so it was better to have her as part-time, than to be without somebody, so we are asking that you rescind her prior resignation, for her to be back part-time with us.
A motion on miscellaneous item 1.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
All right, do you want to do all of high school or by department head, coordinator, student council? How do you want to do that?
Anybody have a reason we need to break it into sections?
Or can we just do everything underneath high school? Is everybody okay with
Everything
that?
on item I think would be fine.
Okay, so then, and I realize my spacing's off there a little bit, but a recommendation, for all the department heads approval, for the high school PCA's department heads.
Have a motion on high school department heads.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, next would be approval for high school coordinators.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the high school coordinators?
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
And next would be a motion to approve student council.
Motion to approve student council, position 1 and 2.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Is everybody okay if we do,
Do I?
So can we just group?
I was gonna say, is everybody okay if we do can we just do L through T, all the way through the bottom of T, or D, or even B? Is everybody okay if we just do L through
Go
D?
to B.
Is everybody okay with that? Let's do it.
Make sure there's nobody in there we gotta pull out. Don't see any reason that we couldn't, there's no conflicts with anybody, so we'd be looking at L through B. So I have a motion on item L through B.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Okay, then, B, recommendation to approve maternity leave for Hannah Hayes.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
And then we have a recommendation to approve TS instructional assistants to serve as student monitors in the cafeteria during elementary lunch hours. Our instructional assistants are part-time at 29 hours, so if they're approved to be student monitors, then those hours go towards the cafeteria, and they're paid out of the cafeteria, and so those hours, that time in there would not count in their 29 hours, so they can be in the classrooms longer.
So a motion on item C.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
The net, and I need to check with Emily, we don't have an updated, field trip form or field trip list for this school year. I know Kelly had hers. When I looked the other day, there was nothing overnight at this moment in time, so that's just there for informational purposes. And then, does anybody have any questions on this? Did I leave the old one on there? Oops. I left the. Okay, no, I took it off there. So then the next would just be the TS and THS ECA reports. Not near as much, obviously, because it was from July, and so we were just getting back into the groove of things, and less supplies and things came in. And then we don't have the SRO report right now, other than what Brent had given originally, earlier in the meeting, and then, the ADM update, which you guys have been able to see pretty much regularly. Unfortunately, we are a little bit down right now, from where we were at the end of the school year and down from where this time last year, but hopefully we can get some numbers back up where kindergarten was really low this year.
Anybody have any questions on any of those reports? If not, we go to that next one, information. Amy has asked if we can do the 2026 budget workshop Tuesday, August 26th at 5:30. Does that conflict for anybody?
Good for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. We don't show him anything on at this point. No conflicts. Everybody's good. Next regular board meeting here in this room, September 9th at 7 PM. Does anybody else have any comments? If not, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All those in favor? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I got stuff for you guys.